Getting all these platforms on real quick will be a little shorter since it's the evening session. And we're thankful and grateful. Thank you guys for helping us. We're climbing back up and number as far as what our usual numbers are when we get on. We were on TikTok and other platforms as well. So we're thankful and grateful for you all, to you all rather. I said for you all, to you all for being on all the platforms. We're thankful again. Hopefully you guys are able to continue to be with us and roll with us and support the community and things of that nature. Thank you again for being on. Let's see. Hold on one second. Alrighty, let's see. And it may be time to let go. Actually, come on, it may be time to let go. That's what we're going to talk about today. And, so many different things. I hear so many different people talking about so many different situations and so many different things going on in their life. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this or do that. It's frustrating. I'm fighting to keep my job, but the job doesn't want me to do this without the vaccine, this, that, whatever. I don't know about this friendship or whatever. It seems like we might need a break. And it might be time to let go. Thank you, Shalom, Barbara, how you doing? Dashima, Beverly, everyone who's on TikTok, all the platforms. We're thankful and grateful for you all being on. We're trying to do something a little different for the evenings. So we'll try to do the Facebook and IG in the Rising. Thank you for all your prayers and your concerns and everything. As we woman who had asked you a question. It just reminded me of how necessary this topic is, right? How a lot of people are saying, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm finished with my job, right? So I'm finished with my job, or my job seems to be doing, or that they let me go. And they're so like, I'm worried, I'm frustrated, I don't know what to do. And remember, to squash worry is really to be focused on the kingdom, be focused on your calling, be focused on what you're supposed to do. And we have all these people talking about how they're worried about this, afraid of this, they don't know what they're going to do, how am I going to connect to this, how I'm going to be able to get onto this, et cetera, et cetera. And the reality is that you have to get to a position and get to a place in your life where you realize that some things are not there for you to, matter of fact, a majority of things in your life are not something that's supposed to be there forever. Right? There are seasons in everybody's life. So when we talk about forever, understand that there's nothing that you do out of my presence right now. Sorry, TikTok, what we're trying to get people to comprehend and to understand. Long story short, hopefully the TikTok signal is taken care of. What we're trying to get people to comprehend is that there's times where things are being taken away. And sometimes it might even be the Most High himself, right? Some people will call it the higher power. Some people want to say it's the energy, want to call it the universe, even though universe means somebody spoke something into existence. So if you believe in the universe, you believe in somebody who spoke something into existence. Nevertheless, there are things that are happening that are being taken out of your life, and sometimes we're fighting to hold on to things that are not for us to hold on to, right? We're fighting for that. Like, even think about it. Somebody will be praying. Think about this. Somebody will pray. Yeah, please allow me to be free. Allow me to have more time. Allow me to be with my family. I want to spend more time with my spouse. I want to spend more time doing things. And thanks, babe. My wife is on, and always you can follow her on @Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, but the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. You can follow her on TikTok, YouTube, and her website. You can see her hand. I was going to say she's sitting here right next to me, and just finished her live. So yeah. Proud of her continuing to go forward in that.
Sister Dashima and Minister Tamara, they were like cheering me on, and Sister Sharice, they're out there.
Oh, amen. Okay.
I know.
So you guys are coming right back. So we appreciate you, fam. But there's some, if we sit there, we'll say, man, I want so much time to grow. I want to do this. I want to be different. I want to change the world. I want to have time with my family. And then, it starts, or your situation starts happening where now all of a sudden you're freed up. Now all of a sudden it's like, hey, the job is trying to do this or do that. Hey, it's time for you to start doing things. And rather than putting into our business, rather than making sure that we, Oh, Sister Sonia said she missed it. Yeah, I guess you're shooting for 7 o'clock ish,
Yeah,
something
I'm
like that.
trying. I'm trying to
Okay.
get over my own anxiety about doing it. Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
So I guess keep an eye on 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time for Bloom and Flourish, and be a support to my wife. If you especially since a lot of you are on the live, you have to choose one or the other in the evening. Choose hers because you guys are with us on the rising anyway, right? So but a lot of us, we have so many different things, and it's time for us to do this stuff. We get released, we're separated, and we get what's really, I guess you could even call it like separation anxiety. You're not really even anxious about what you're separated from. You're just anxious from the fact that you used to do so many different things. You used to do this every day. You had to wake up and go to work at this time. You had to go and do this and do that and all these different things. Now it's time for you to be about your own schedule, to take your own stuff on. Thank you, Deb. Appreciate that. And thank everybody for the likes, the shares, all that stuff. If you follow or are part of our community, I don't really like to say we have followers. We have part people that are community members. We don't think about those things. Like, we want so bad to have the opportunity to be free, and then freedom comes, and then we're freaked out because we haven't been free before, right? The time is now. Thank you, Minister Tamara. The time is now for us to start living in that which we've asked for. Remember, like, this year we're pursuing the promises of the Most High. Next year we're going to transition from January to Passover, to where we're going to start living in that which we have pursued. And in order to live that, if you are pursuing freedom, at some point you have to live in what you're pursuing, right? Think about that. Like, more people are not afraid. Like, watch this. People are, if I can say it like this, freedom can be a scary place. How about that? To be free can be a scary place. To wake up and you're your own boss, right? Like, if like, it's a people I appreciate it, and people are supportive and everything, but I don't think people really comprehend and understand. If stuff doesn't go right with servants of Christ, guess who that's a reflection on? Right? It's a reflection on me. If things don't go right in our community, if we help somebody with marriage and their marriage situation doesn't turn out right, guess who that's a reflection on ultimately, right? It's a reflection on the people who are in marriage, but also if I'm the person that's helping and we don't have a great turnaround, it's a reflection on me, right? And I'm saying that because whatever you're going to pursue, a lot of people are worried. See, when you are not free, or when you're governed by somebody else, when you're not sovereign, whoever's above you is where the buck stops, right? The buck stops here, so to speak. So if you're dealing with public interest, or you're dealing with being governed by the government, then it's scary. It's not as scary, even though you don't like it. You're not supposed to. You don't really feel like you're in your calling. But hey, at least you're dealing with being governed by the government. Then it's scary. It's not as scary, even though you don't like it. You're not supposed to. You don't really feel like you're in your calling. But hey, at least it's somebody else's fault. Right? But now you're getting to a place where you're being pushed into a place where self accountability is going to take over, and that's a very scary place to be. Thanks for being on, Minister Anais and Brother Jermaine, and shalom to you as well. Right? It's a very interesting place. Shalom to Tracy, family, everybody on the podcast, everybody all over the place. Thank you for those who are on Big O Live, those who are on TikTok trying out Big O Live stuff, and get that going. And we'll get back once. So we'll be doing Facebook and IG. We'll be trying to shoot for that in the risings, and that way we can, balance the stuff out and be able to keep spreading out the knowledge, spreading out the cultures, etc., spreading out the word of Yah. So thank you for being on all the platforms. And once again, is because it's time for you to be free. When it's time to you be free, though, it's time for you to have to let go of other people that now have been over you. Right? When you come out of a relationship and you get ready to go into a relationship, this is a little known thought that it's a thought that's not explored that often. The reality is, when you're coming out of a relationship and you're getting ready to go into another relationship, sometimes the fear that happens is okay, I went out and I was dealing with this person over here, and so this is what we had established, this is what we were both under. Now I'm about to go into another relationship, and you're kind of holding on to some of the stuff from the stuff. Like, I've got to become, I don't even know if new person is the right expression, but I'm becoming new. Like, I'm not under the same thing. And sometimes that's a problem, if we be honest. Sometimes it's an issue that people have because they're trying to take old relationship and bring it into new relationship. When I was with this person, this is what they did. I had somebody, who was at one point discussing the possibility of us trying to be together. They told me straight up, like, oh yeah, I know what it is to be a wife already because, my husband taught me what it is to be a wife. So I already know everything you're going to need because I was already with them. I was like, but I'm not him. So that was like, that was a turnoff. I was like, how is that going to work? Like, you're telling me we're going to work and you're trying to base it off of something that didn't work because you got an ex-husband. So it didn't work. And you're telling me that what didn't work, I don't need to tell you anything because what didn't work, so therefore something didn't work with him is going to transfer over to me, right? But it's time to let go. In her mind, she was trying to tell me, right? And praise Yah, I was wise enough not to roll with this, and anybody who rolls with this, male or female, praise Yah, you're not, but people will tell you stuff like that, like, oh, you don't have to tell me what it is. I've been in a relationship. Like, even when it deals with the Bible, people say, don't tell me anything about the Bible. You can't tell me nothing about the Bible. I was raised in the Bible. And it's like, but you don't even read the Bible. I'm sorry. You say?
I think that's one of the things that people, hi everyone. I think that's one of the things that people make a mistake with because, I don't know what I got on here, is assuming that they know what somebody is thinking instead of actually asking them. And that might have been what ended her first relationship, that she assumed that she knew what her ex wanted and was telling him what he wanted. I don't know.
Okay. So it might be time to let go. She was trying to hold on to something that didn't even work. Yeah, or people don't even read the Bible and they want to tell you about it, right? But you have to understand, people are coming off of ancient expectations, old ways of thought. They're not even thinking what they're supposed to think. They're not even living how they're supposed to live. And it might be time to let go. That thing that you're stressing about, whatever that thing, a lot of us are stressing about something that is literally trying. Like, there are times that what you're holding on to, if you want to talk about energy, spirituality, etc., there are things that you're trying to hold on to sometimes that actually are not supposed to be part of you. They're trying to let go. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, right? But like, you're trying to work, you're trying to hold on to that job and hold on to that job. You're fighting for the job. The people on the job don't even like you. They've been trying to figure out ways to get you fired. They've been, you've been working there for years and you are frustrated by it. You don't even want to be there. What do? You keep holding on. And you even come in, it's even your testimony. I'm holding out hope, and y'all pray for me. And I'm praying that all these demons. I mean, you hear people say stuff like that. I'm praying all these demons that are at this job and everything, they're gonna be under my feet. It's like, if you in a place filled with demons, why stay? It might be time for you to leave. I'm not saying you got to go to the Most High. I'm not. Don't anybody put a stamp of approval. Hey, Kofi came out here saying I need to leave my job. That's between you and the Most High. However, I'm just telling you, people hold on to things. And it might be time for it to let go. People hold on to friendships, and the friendships go through season. You might be going through a winter season. It might not be time for that friendship to have. You guys were walking together every day. You guys were going to the club every day, stuff like that. But you might be coming out of club life, and they might come later, but they might not be ready to come out. So guess what? There might be a separation. There might be, as you're going higher, the gap in between you and where the person is might be there. And when that person comes out of it, whatever, and they're ready to get back with you, they'll come on up. Matter of fact, you need to be in position ready to extend your hand so that you can help pull them up. Amen. Yeah, trust Yah for something better. And that's the faith. But even the faith without the works. We were talking about that this rising where somebody was like, it's about, you keep talking about works and stuff, but it's about faith, and works don't matter. It's like, no, faith and works married together. Have the faith to be able to step out on something. Have the faith to let go. It might be time right now. The reason why you're going through the stress is probably because it's time to move. There's nothing more stressful than trying to stay in a place in which you're not supposed to be there anymore. I can tell you, like, personally, like, there's nothing like trying to hold on to something, and it's not really even like, basically you're holding on to it because in your mind, it's something that is nostalgic. Like, real talk, for a lot of people, a job is nostalgic. Real talk. Like, the reason why people work jobs is because you grew up and your mom and dad had a job, and then you went to school and they told you as you were going to school and you went to college that you were going for a job, and you got your first job and you think that you got your first apartment because of your first job, this, that, or whatever. But you could have got your first apartment or your first house or your first property by simply just investing when you were young. You didn't have to do that, but you're holding on to nostalgia. It's nostalgia of a system that you're part of that says you have to do it this way, right? There's a lot of people that are missing stuff as far as cryptocurrency, and now Meta's coming out and all this different stuff, and people are missing it because they're holding on to something that's nostalgic. It's something that the world's not even going to be doing. Like in 20, 30 years, we're going to find out that fiat cash is, I mean, it's something that'll still be there, but people will think of fiat cash the same way that they think of as Meta. They'll think of Meta, which is just basically cryptocurrency kind of in a different way, but they'll think of Meta, cryptocurrency, all those things in the same way. Our children, just like we did. It was funny. I did a put your finger down thing challenge, and it was about basically if you grew up, I guess, really 80s, 90s babies, but it was stuff like put a finger down, if you ever used a payphone. Put a finger down if you ever used a dial, if you ever had to dial a number on a phone that was connected to the hook. Like put a finger down if you use a VCR. Things change that fast, and people who didn't want to let go of those things, eventually you were forced to let go of it anyways. You just let go of it a little further. But some people are so frustrated. People don't know what it is to have good vinyl. Look, at some point I'd love to have a little, get back to having a, a record player and all that stuff, and be nice to have a little record collection and all that. But that's not, I can't take that and use it every day, right? I can't take something that had its place and has a place in my heart, but act like because it has a place in my heart, I'm nostalgic about it. It means that that's the way things are moving now, right? And a lot of us are doing the same thing. Like we have this DVD complex, so to speak. Like, we thought DVD was going to be it. We thought that the Blu-ray disc was going to be it, which was nothing more than the DVD, right? We thought that before that, the laser disc might have been it. All these different things that came out. And now, I mean, if you want to watch a movie, why have a laser disc? All you got to do is make sure you're on the cloud, and you can just pay to make sure that you got all these things that you can pull up. You're paying for Disney Plus, you're paying for Netflix, you're paying for Hulu, you're paying for all these different things that are out there, right? But if somebody's out there saying, hey, I still want to make sure that everywhere I go, I have 500 DVDs to carry, that's nice and everything, but I mean, it's not something that's as feasible. Right, and the same thing's going to happen. You're going to have to carry a new mindset. There's a scripture that talks about you can't take, you got to stop taking new wine and trying to put it in old wineskins. Right, the wineskin was designed to be able to move and to grow and to have stuff ferment in it, right, and to be able to have it expand. Once it expanded, right, once you had once it expanded, it had old wine in it. If you try to put new wine in there, which basically means you're putting juice in there to ferment, right? You're putting fruit or vegetables or whatever it is you're making the wine out of, rice, etc., grain, and you put it in there to ferment. Once it ferments inside the wineskin, if you try to use it a second time, usually the wine's going to come out and start to leak out the sides. Why? Because the wineskin was designed for just one wine. It was designed for one season. It was designed for one thing to grow and to become alive. Like when we're talking about fermentation, really we're just talking about something becoming alive, right? The Bible describes wine as stuff that moves inside the cup, right? You're taking something that doesn't move inside the cup and it begins to move inside the cup. It begins to move inside the wineskin. And so now you got this movement that's supposed to happen, but you're trying to take something that used to be old or that was designed for one version of wine. It's still wine. It's older wine, sure, but it's old wine and new wine, but you think the new wine should go in the old wineskin. When you have a new wine that you're trying to develop, you got to put it in a new wineskin. You have to put it in a new container, and you have to go through a process of making sure that it's all the way there again, and you have to inspect it. A lot of people don't know when it comes to the wineskin, that's a huge process, especially back in our culture, right, is concerned as far as African, North African, or Israelite culture. The wineskin was crucial because every time you did it, you had to go and you had to, get the flesh of an animal. You had to make sure that you got rid of all the fur and everything, because obviously you're not trying to drink fur and all that. So you got to make sure that it's cleaned out from that. You have to make sure that then you sew it together and make sure it's tight. Then you have to actually test it. So you got to pour water into it and hang it up and make sure that it has no leaks. Then once you go through that, then you put the wine in there, and then you go through the process of allowing it to ferment. And once it ferments over time, then you go back and you get your now you have your wine you can drink and you can carry with you in this wineskin. So every time you go into a new place, you have to study that new place. And you have to study that new place. You can't take the idea of what was there before. Sure, you're using the same process. You might be using the same culture, the same habits, the same religiosity, the same mentality, the same desires, the same passion to be able to get from point A to point B. However, the same passion doesn't mean it's the same exact thing. You got to bring a passion and a desire to grow the same way that you had it in what you're trying to move from into the next reality. Right, you got to do that. You got to be willing to take what you're growing in and move it to the next reality. A lot of people aren't trying to move into the next reality. You're trying to do the same thing. You're trying to take an old reality and act like it's just as real in what you're doing now as it was before. Right? I'm the same Kofi, and I was there using the VCR. I'm the same Kofi who used a Laserdisc. I'm the same Kofi that used a DVD player. I'm the same Kofi that used a Blu-ray disc, right? I'm the same person, but now I don't use those things. I'm the same person. However, I had to bring myself into different things. The same thing. Like, are you willing to let go of some things so that you can keep on moving, right? Like if I see a Nintendo, I get nostalgic, but it doesn't mean that I'm trying to buy a Nintendo and just play Nintendo games all day, right? I can play Nintendo games on the phone. Right? Like, the memory on my phone is way better than Nintendo. So I might get nostalgic when I see it. I might remember how to play it. I might sit down for a little while, but I can't stay in that, right? If I'm going to be in the next level of video game play, I have to be willing to move. It's the same process. It's the same thought process, right? It might be time to move. Amen, Minister Nice. Yeah, that new wineskin, right? Shalom, Sister Deborah. How you doing? Right? And a lot of people are sitting there trying to do the same thing. Right, to everything there's a season, and a lot of people are trying to take things from one season and move it into the other. You can't grow stuff in the winter that you can grow in the fall. You can't grow stuff in the fall that you can grow in the summer. You can't grow stuff in the summer that you can grow in the spring. Right, but we're used to trying to do it all the time. Right, that's why when you go to the store, it doesn't even make sense. When you go to the store, which is somebody's storage, and they put in that storage unit stuff for you to buy, and you are looking at the food, and it's the middle of winter. But you're eating stuff that only grows when it's not winter time, right? Or it's supposed to grow in the summer, the spring, the fall, but you're eating it during the winter time. You have to start saying to yourself, either they got this from another country or another place where it's okay for this stuff to grow, or they're making it up. It's not even real. If I'm trying to use it outside the season, it means that I'm probably I don't care how organic they say it is. If I'm using it outside the season and it doesn't even grow in the ground, then that means that basically I'm eating something that's not real. It seems like it's reality, but it actually harms my body. It's not natural. It's not of its nature. But we've been raised in a society where you keep holding on to stuff, even if it's not your nature, even if it's not natural or natural, even if it's not something that's really something that's going to help you. Hey, Shalom, Dennis, how you doing? Thanks for being on, right? These are things that we have to be real about, and we have to have discussion about. What are you trying to bring that is not even the season for? What season are you in? First of all, can you even determine what season it's in? Is it time for certain things to spring up in your life, right? Is it time for you to start being fruitful, right? Is it time for you to start looking, hey, is the ground finished being frosted? This is why we're agricultural people. Shalom, Daryl, how you doing? Right? This is why agriculture is important to study. Like, you will learn stuff about yourself, about the Most High, etc. Right? Are you ready to deal with the changes? Right? Summertime, everybody's out there. A lot of people in the summertime, they're out there and it's like, okay, now's the time to chill. Do you understand that there's certain things that only happen in the summertime? Are you ready to get that stuff done when everybody's going to the beach? Are you ready to get certain things done? Right? I can do a live from the beach, but I'm still going to get my stuff done. We were raised in school systems that summer means that you're off, right? But a lot of people took classes during the summer. A lot of people would laugh at those who took classes during the summer. But all of a sudden it came senior year and somebody only had 2 classes left for the whole year. And they were electives because they had taken all the classes. So guess what? If they did take classes, they would take a half day of school. They started taking college courses. They were already thinking about what was coming up next. There was always something that they could be doing and sewing into, right? They were able, while everybody else was clinging and trying to just make sure they had that good GPA to finish up. These people already had their GPA taken care of. They were looking at the next step. They were looking at the next level. because they had let go of having to stay a senior. We're going to enjoy the senior year. I'm already moved on senior year, right? Senior year, okay, cool. We're going to graduate. We're going to be friends, this and that or whatever. But real talk, like I'm already doing stuff in college. So when you show up to college next year, I already know the teachers. I already know what needs to be in, as far as instruction. I already know I've already talked to people about how they go about their business, right? I already know what the freshman struggles are going to be, because even though I didn't live there yet, I know enough about it because I hung out with the freshmen, right? I went through those things. I knew what season I was in, and I knew how to prepare for the next season of life. I had to let go of things. And once again, it might be time to let go. That's the motif. That's the theme for tonight. I see you, Roots. Yeah, staying true to your purpose, right? Like that's what it is. Are you even in a position, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, psychologically? Even the word psychology, psyche in the Greek, it simply means soul. So are you studying your soul? Your soul is your purpose, your passion, what connects your spirit to your physical man, all that stuff. Like, are you in a position to where you're even thinking about those things, or do you just make a move just because? You know. This is Kofi _43 on TikTok, right? And by the way, we're gonna start already thinking about what's been done and how we have to keep fighting and coming back and being shadow banned and stuff. So be ready. There's gonna be a Kofi _44 page. We're gonna ask you guys, please start looking into that. Please start supporting that when we start putting that up, right? Because we already know what this goes, where we're fighting for the original content still, the second page content still, and every time we get to tens of thousands, all of a sudden they start saying, "Oh, you're on the live talking about drugs and drinking and all this stuff." We've never done any of that, right? So now we're even legally going to have to do some stuff to push back, just to let them know. But we're already planning ahead. We're already looking at, hey, how can we get the app together? We're already looking at where's the land going to be, so we can have our own land. On the land, we can start worrying about, hey, you got your own studio and your own crypto and all this stuff. You don't have to worry about everybody else's stuff, right? You start planning ahead and thinking about the season. A lot of us are in survival mode. In survival mode, you stay still, right? In survival mode, you stay still. In survival mode, you just try to make it paycheck to paycheck, day to day. And I'm not even mad paycheck to paycheck, but just make sure paycheck to paycheck is based off of something real. If you got land that you own, paycheck to paycheck ain't the same as if you living in somebody else's apartment complex, right? Not all paycheck to paycheck reality is the same, right? You know, if you out here trying to make a relationship work or whatever, and you're totally dependent, not interdependent, but totally dependent on somebody else, coming outside of a bad relationship is something that's hard to let go of if you haven't made sure you've gotten in a relationship where you're just as dependent on them as they are on you. If you have to be totally dependent on somebody, you're not in a great relationship, right? I depend on my wife as much as my wife depends on me. That's why we have a great marriage. That interdependency. And so I can let go of certain things. Why? Because I know that my wife, when I'm letting go of certain things and my wife is taking over, because she can take over certain things, that means she will let go of certain things so that I can take over. So neither one of us feels like we're being underneath the foot of somebody else, or that we're just having to be submissive to somebody else and the other person won't listen to us, because the other person is constantly letting go so that the other person can now come in. See, watch this. Some of us need to let go. Hear what I'm going to tell you on this. And I see your comments. I'm going to try to catch them as much as I can. We got so many different things going on all the platforms, so forgive me if I'm not catching everybody's comments, right? But some of our issues that we're dealing with is that we're dealing with the fact that we're in relationships with people where we are always holding on. We're so dependent on other people that we are always holding on to somebody else. Right? And so there's no interdependence. And some people get bored with that, by the way. Like, I've been in a relationship before. You know how men be talking all this trash about how, oh yeah, you need a woman that's going to totally submit. She'll just do whatever you say, blah, blah, this and that. Like, I could have been in a long-term relationship with somebody where I could have had that. It was irritating. Can I just be honest? It was like, men who haven't had that, it was irritating for me. And I'm talking about men, not little boys, men, right? It was irritating because I need somebody to cry on sometimes too, right? I need somebody to build my self-esteem up too, or build my esteem up. And so I can help with my, and to combine with my self-esteem. I need those things as well, right? And I didn't have it from this person. So, and maybe I wasn't strong enough at that point to deal with somebody like that, somebody might say, but it was tough. And at the end of the day, I just kind of had to throw in the towel. Because how am I going? I can't lift everything. You know, every conversation we have is about your stuff, and it's always about what the world's doing to you, and it's always about your feeling this and that or whatever. And I can't say anything about myself because as soon as I get off a job, as soon as I get out of this, out of that, everything has to be about, you know, what you're going through and what you're not getting, how you're not loved, how you're not appreciated, blah, blah. Like at some point, like I need to be able to jump in there too and say, hey, I'd like to be able to talk about some things. You know, I'd like to be able to try and grow and become better. I'd like to be able to have some conversation about what's going on. You know, at some point, I'd like to be able to do that as well. But a lot of people, once again, if you can't let go of some things, it means the other person's not in the position to be able to take over on some things. This is Willie Lynch syndrome in a nutshell, because if we're doing the whole I'm frozen and I got to make sure I take care of my babies and I'm independent and I don't need no man, well, okay, cool. But now here comes a husband, not just a man. You should be looking for a husband, not a man, right? And here comes somebody qualified as a husband, and he starts giving you his qualifications. I want to take care of you. I want to be able to make sure you're in a home. I want to make sure that you have your car taken care of. I want to take care of bills. I want you to be able to travel. I want you to be able to feel secure. And once you feel secure, then I feel like because I can help you to feel secure, I should be able to make a decision here or there and to do things that a husband should do. If the woman's in a position where she says, well, I can't let go of this. I can't let go of that. I run this. This is my family. This is my baby. This and that or whatever. I mean, yeah, all right. And not every man is worth doing that for. I get that. However, what is he allowed to do then? If you won't let go of anything, what is he allowed to do? Right? I'm sorry, Dennis said I'm in a bad relationship, long-term disability. You're in a bad relationship because of long-term disability? You're saying, I didn't quite understand it, Dennis. Thanks for joining the community, Lost Fire. How you doing? My wife said I would love to hear talk about when and how to hold on. Okay. That's a great conversation we could definitely look at having. Shalom, angelic discipline, how you doing? So it might be time. The reason why frustration might be there, the reason why anger, being hurt, going through things, etc., the reason why that stuff might be there is simply because it might be time to let go. It may be time to let go. Right? It might just be time to let go. And a lot of people don't want to let go. But it might be your time. It might be your time to let go. It might be time for you to give up some of the things you're holding on to that are causing you headache. I've learned the more things I'm able to let go of, like I'm seeing it in real time now, when other people are able to use their gift. I saw some of the stuff that's going to be popping up on the YouTube series and the 13 Bits of Christmas stuff and all that stuff. And I saw in real time somebody use his gift off of software that he had only seen for like a couple days. And him and his son. So he's teaching his son how to do what he does so his son can be a business owner as well. And to see them come up with something, all I did was use my gift. And I said, okay, I need you to do the artist rendering. I can't do that, right? And to see a video that's going to be 5 minutes long, but to see about basically 2 to 3 minutes of it already taken care of, and to see it done in an amazing manner, and to see stuff that people were doing, like Miles Monroe was doing this type of stuff, or people did this with Miles Monroe stuff, people were doing this with TDJ stuff too, and to see somebody could do that, and I don't really have a clue as to do. I looked at the software. I don't know how to use it, but it's not my gift. However, when I let go of that and I said, okay, I'm going to trust you, we're going to do this together, because our goal is to start putting stuff out to where, as far as technology is concerned, as far as the presentation, you can have a baby watch the stuff and get it. You can have people who are visual learners watch it. They don't just want to sit here and look at me talk. They actually want to see something happen, some drawings happen, things like that. It was a blessing to see, a reminder to see that as I let go of more things, it means now somebody can come on and hold on to something I've let go, right? If I'm trying to hold on to the string and somebody else wants to hold on to the same place in the string, right? They can't hold on. I've got to move my hand some for that person to be able to hold on to that place in the string that they might need to hold on to. And this is the reality. This is why a lot of people can't even be under leadership, if we be honest. And I'm gonna get ready to take my leave in a bit. We're not gonna be on too much longer. Our evening sessions are normally shorter, so for those that want to join us, we're on the Risings at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern New York time, and we do every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. So that means tomorrow evening we won't be on live. If we think about this stuff, that we have to be in a mindset of realizing, where's the realization that we must start letting go. Some of the things that are not moving is because you have not let go. Sometimes somebody can't come in your life to be able to be a blessing to you because you haven't let go, right? People love Habakkuk. Write down the vision and make it plain upon the tablets. What's the next part? So that he that readeth it, somebody has to be able to read what you're doing. When they read it, they can come and what? Runneth with it. They can continuously to take what you've done. They can see what it is that's your vision. So it's your vision. It doesn't mean you're going to do everything. It just means you can envision it. However, you might not know how to, it might not be your purpose to get every single thing done. Like I have a vision that I know is going to be generational. So that means that my grandbabies, my great-grandbabies, my great-great-grandbabies, which I plan to be around for all of them, so I got to be healthy, right? That's part of the vision. That stuff I got to take care of, and also, right? But at the end of the day, while we're going through this stuff, I also have to be in a position to where I'm allowing them at some point to be able to do their own thing. My son's going to have to take over some things. My wife has to do some things. My grandchildren are going to have to do some things, and when they do, and when they learn, then as I let go of that, it actually allows me to go to another level, right? It allows me, so I'm going to make sure everybody's trained and we're all agreeing on how stuff is supposed to go. The environment's there, but then I'm not going to be the leader of that part. That's why we teach, don't be leaders over people, be leaders over environments. A lot of us are trying to lead people. Lead the environment, right? Don't worry about having to tell everybody what to do. That's when micromanagement happens. Micromanagers are annoying, aren't they? Because they try to tell you every single thing that you're going to do. Don't worry about micromanaging everything. Set up an environment where other people will come in and you can start letting go. When I'm telling you, the blessing is when you can start letting go and you see that stuff still runs. Matter of fact, sometimes you'll see it runs better, right? Because you were trying to do everything. That's what happened with the apostles. When the apostles appointed deacons, they didn't really appoint the deacons. What happened is the apostles were messing up because you had 12 people trying to run everything, and they were looking crazy, and they were messing up, and people weren't getting stuff they needed. Stuff like happens today. It's not always just because people are evil. Sometimes people mismanage money because you got one person trying to make all the decisions with all the money. It doesn't make sense, right? So they had to start saying, all right, we'll put these people together that we now call deacons. And the deacons were voted on by the people. So like when we start putting deacons in place, so like the people who are ministers and stuff like that, they're put in place by the spiritual leadership, so to speak. But the deacons, they're actually were voted on by the people. And so once you had deacons in place and the people said, yeah, we think so-and-so would be good and da-da-da and this and that or whatever. And that's how they had the first deacons. And they said, okay, the people trust you and they see your heart. So we're going to now train you to make sure that your confidence that you have, the people have confidence in you. So that confidence that they have, we want to make sure is married with competence. And when confidence and competence meet together, now I can let go and you'll be able to take what I did because the people have a trust in you and a faith in you, and you obviously can handle this, and you're going to be able to do things that I couldn't do anyways. And this is when it becomes important. This is when you know you're a really good person as far as leading the environment. When people start to pass you, you take credit for them passing you. A lot of people don't like it when people pass them because they want to they think the only way to take credit for something is if you're over the person. So as long as the person's under you, you can say, oh, see, yeah, they're part of my team, or I taught them, or I did this, or it's mine, right? No. When somebody surpasses me, I take credit for it. I say, man, you better than me. You know what happens when I say that? They say, yeah, but you taught me. So even if you want to be selfish with it, right? Let go of having to say, I'm the reason that they did that. I'm the reason for this. I'm the reason for that. Look, I taught you. Great job. Now take what I taught you and do better than me. Greater things shall you do. That's what the greatest teacher, that's what the teacher of teachers said, right? I'm teaching you. Why? Because greater things are what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do something on a higher level than I'm doing it. And when you're doing on a higher level than me, now we doing some real stuff, right? I'm sorry, Shea Butter said I was mourning yesterday about a friend, but I had to let her go for my sake. Yeah, and that's a real thing. You know, it might be time to let go. It doesn't mean, by the way, that they can't come back. Prodigal son, great example, right? Doesn't mean it just because you let go of someone or something that it cannot be restored. It just means right now the season might be up where it's wintertime. Hey, how you doing, Wavy? Right? So this is what we're talking about. The what might be causing the frustration, the heartache, the depression, etc. It might just be because you're trying to hold on to something that's not for you to hold on to anymore. Release it. You have permission. Why? Because you can give yourself permission to. I can't give you permission. People, it's interesting. People will call you up waiting for you to give them permission to let go. Let go. You're sovereign. Let go. You have rulership over your own life. Let it go. You have the rulership over your life. I don't have rulership over your life. I'm not over you. I'm over an environment, but you come into the environment. In order for you to be a leader, you got to let go anyways, because you can't bring that old wineskin. That old wineskin and try to put a new wine. You can't bring that old mentality into a new community. You can't bring who you were. That's why what Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim, that you present yourselves a living sacrifice, which is holy and acceptable. And how do you make sure that you do that? You have to renew your mind every day. The theme we're talking about is it might be time to let go. At the end of the day, a lot of stuff that people are going through is because it's time to let go. It's time to let go. Somebody might have just needed to hear that and nothing else. It's time to let go. Somebody passed away years ago. You're sad because you feel like you did them wrong and you didn't have a chance to make it right. It's time to let go of that. There is now therefore no condemnation for those of us who follow after the things that are pneumatically correct, and not after the things that are causing us to be sick and depressed and clinically depressed, and having ulcers and heart attacks and all types of stuff, and cysts and fibroids and all these different things. For what? It's time to let go. It's time to let go. Right? There's certain things you need attachment with, but some of that stuff you're carrying is not for you to carry. And some of it's too big and too heavy for you to carry anyways. That's why in my case, there's certain things I have to give to the Most High, because it's too much for me to carry. I used to try, you know how many burdens, I can tell you as a pastor, and my wife can tell you, man, I used to be like killing myself and really killing our relationship too, because I was trying my hardest to carry everybody's stuff. And when somebody didn't do something, I took it as like a personal attack. Somebody didn't, somebody started doing stuff, that was illegal. Somebody started taking drugs. Somebody started doing stuff. And it's like, some of these people were even babies, and little babies out here, these teenagers and stuff, doing wild stuff. And it's like, you take it personally. And I had to learn how to let go. I had to learn how to say, hey, you gave them the tools. You were there with them. You said if they needed to talk to you, they could talk, and they still decided to do the same thing. It's not my responsibility to travel everywhere, looking to see, where are you at, this and that, calling their parents up, this and that. Their parents don't even care enough, right? If their parents don't even care enough, right? Like, it doesn't mean you give up on them, but if their parents have the first responsibility, right? Like, why am I taking away from my own family? You said, okay, but what are the steps to let something go, especially when it has a grip? Well, number one, first step I would say is this. That's a great question, because we didn't really talk too much about that. We were talking about the value of letting go. So let's do it like this real quick, and we can continue this tomorrow, because my wife was also saying we need to have something on when to hold on, etc. First of all, so we live by this. This is a quick one because we got to get ready to take our leave. This is a quick way of looking at it. Vision, purpose, value. We talk about that all the time. VPV. Vision, purpose, value. Yeah, sometimes you got to just say no, right? You said take inventory, identify what you don't want so you know what you do, right? Vision, purpose, value. Number one, first and foremost, what is the vision for your life? And a lot of people don't have that. What is the vision? If you don't have a vision, somebody else has a vision. If you don't have vision for self, then you can't have self-control. If you don't have if you don't know what self is or vision of self, the only thing left is control, right? So first of all, what is the vision for your life? Because if you do not have a vision for your life, you won't even know how to answer that or even look at that question or see if to even see like if you're even really holding on to something or not, so to speak. Right. Next is purpose. Purpose is daily manifestation. And I'm using working definitions before somebody says, no, the dictionary says, I get it. I'm talking about working definitions that help you to understand. Vision is I'm headed somewhere. Purpose is what do I do every day to get to where I'm headed? Okay. So vision is saying, I know where I'm headed. I know what I'm supposed to do. Now I'm going to come all the way back to where I am. So vision is somewhere. Purpose is what do I do every day to get to where I'm headed? Okay. So vision is saying, I know where I'm headed. I know what I'm supposed to do. Now I'm going to come all the way back to where I am. So vision is me basically being in prophecy. I know where I'm going, right? You can't tell me where I'm not going. You can't tell me what I'm not called to do. You can't tell me what I'm not supposed to accomplish. I know without a shadow of a doubt. So that's why no matter what happens, when they mess with stuff, when we're shadow banned, when we're doing stuff or whatever, you can't tell me what I'm still going to be on live. I'm still going to be calling people up. I'm still going to be developing lesson plans. I'm still going to be teaching. I'm still going to be traveling, right? It doesn't matter. Like the vision never changed, right? When I was homeless, vision was the same. It didn't stop, right? So now my purpose is daily manifestation. So now my purpose has been established. So once you have vision established, I know where I'm headed. I come back now to where I am presently. And I start looking at purpose, daily manifestation. What am I going to do every day to get there? So if I'm holding on to things that don't get me to the vision, then I know that they're not really my purpose, or my purpose should not be influenced by that, right? So if my vision, for example, if my vision is to be able to make sure that I speak, then if I eat things that are going to cause me to have a tough time in speaking, then why would I eat that, right? If my vision is that I'm supposed to make sure that I am a life coach and a marital coach, then my purpose is I need to study about marriage, and I need to make sure my own marriage is great. And I need to make sure my wife and I are on such a great accord that we can even do some of that stuff together, so that she can talk to the sisters. Sometimes I can talk to the brothers, because my marriage needs to be strengthened. If the vision is to make sure that people have better marriages, then my marriage has to be good. That's my purpose. So now I've got to work on that, right? So if I'm holding on to anything as far as purpose, right, daily manifestation, if I'm holding on to anything or anybody that's going to cause strife in my marriage, then I have to let go. I know to let go of it because it's not part of where I'm headed. Vision is crucial because vision is going to establish all, right? Vision is going to establish all, right? Vision is going to establish I'm headed in a certain direction. You see what I'm saying? Vision, I'm sorry, where it says, what if whatever you need to let go has been so incorporated in your life it becomes regular? It's a decision, and I wish I could say make it like, I understand it's hard, so let me make sure that I'm empathetic, and I go through this myself, right? It's hard to change certain things because it's just part of your life. Like one of my struggles I've gone through is pornography addiction, just being honest with you, right? So that's a struggle I went through, and it was at a point to where I couldn't get stuff done because I would be in front of a computer all day. However, I had to figure out, I had to start doing things. I had to realize this does not serve my purpose. I'm trying to be a husband. How does this help me be a husband if I have to look at everybody else? How does this help me to speak on things about purity and I can't be pure in my own thoughts? How, right? Like I know a lot of these people commit suicide. A lot of them end up with terrible lives. They're dealing with all types of soul ties, and you're dealing with spiritual stuff. Even if you're not meeting them, you're still dealing with spiritual transference from one person to the next. So how does that help me with my vision, right? So you can have a lot of stuff. There's stuff like I won't mention the person's name, even though probably many of you will never ever even know. If any of you will ever even know who this person is. At the end of the day, though, there was a brother who I thought he was going to change his life, and I saw a gift in him. And for 10 years, off and on, I kept working with this brother. We grinding. Hey, if I go somewhere, like, you're going to be my, in the church you call it armor bearer or whatever. Because I saw a gift. He had a gift of service. However, he liked to serve stuff that caused him to go on the streets, right? And so he couldn't get out the street. Whenever I came around, he snapped too, for the most part, but he still caused me headache and stuff in my life and in my marriage even, and even it almost ended up affecting my children because he was out of control. So, and I should have, like, if I had the confidence and self that I have now, that I've had for some years now, he would have been done. But it was like 10 years straight of this dude has been nothing but trouble, and I keep giving him allowance in my life because I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna help him. No, I gotta let you go, bro. Like, you causing too much harm. If I be honest, well, I'll leave that alone. I don't know if I have permission to talk about that. But there's other things, that I've been involved with, like you're around certain people, you're doing a lot of stuff like you have to recognize. And so like my heart is one to where I love people, right? I'm an introvert, but when it comes, that's my calling. So like if somebody needs something, like bro, like I'm trying to be there for you as best I can. I've had to get used to telling people no, especially as we've grown, and I'm talking to more people all over the world and stuff. I've had to learn how to say no, and that hurts. Sometimes it still hurts when somebody is waiting for you to give up everything that you're doing, because that's what you want to do, right? And be honest, like sometimes I want to give up everything I'm doing in the moment because I saw somebody's phone number pop up and I know the time of day it is and everything. I know what their situation is. Man, they probably need me. I mean, it might be a death in the family. It might be sickness. It might be like a real spiritual warfare type thing going on. And, but it's like, I got to say no. Like I got to spend time with my wife. I got to spend time with my children. I got to spend time with myself. I got to spend time with the Most High. And so it hurts, but it's like the vision. What's the vision? I'll tell people in a heartbeat, like, it don't matter what we're talking about. Let my wife call in the middle of a conversation, and I'm gonna tell you, people who've done life coaching and stuff with me, they'll tell you, right? We'll be in the middle of a conversation talking about some deep stuff or whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, my wife's calling. She's FaceTiming. I gotta, it hurts sometimes, but I'm not gonna be with them forever. I'm gonna be with my wife. So they have a certain role to play because my vision is be married to my wife till death do us part, and I don't plan on dying until I'm 150. So, and that's when I'll start considering death, right? So since I'm not going to start considering death till I'm 150, and I plan on being with her to the rest of my life, right? If anybody die, I'm gonna die first because I need her to live longer than me, right? So that's the goal, right? So anything that's going to come against that, right, is division, right? Anything that comes against it, that's when I get division. That's what causes division. Division is when you got your vision cut in half. It's divided, right? So the vision is going to determine everything. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, right? Because I had a 10-year, even though this dude ended up kind of being, now that I look back on him, like he kind of was a manipulator. He was trash in a sense. But I had, I saw him as somebody that if he would only change, right? I've had other people, right? If they would only change, and it used to hurt me when these people would never change. I used to put more into their own life. But what does that look like? I'm putting more into you than you put into you. That means I'm putting more into you than I put into myself. Like, when am I charged up? When am I recharging? When am I having somebody speak to me and I can listen to them and they can sit me down and say, Kofi, if you're going to lead people, this is what you need to do. Even Moses had to have his father-in-law as the poorest father, right? The Cushite. He had to come to Moses and be like, yo, bro, like, you doing too much. And Moses had to have somebody that could speak to him in that. And he had to allow himself to be. Yeah, thank you, Yella. Appreciate that, right? But he had to have somebody say, you gonna have to take care of yourself out here, Moses. You trying to do everything, and you gonna kill yourself. How you gonna lead people and you gonna be dead at the same time? You can't do it. So he said, you gotta learn how to delegate. And people who have been with us long enough know it hasn't necessarily been because I don't want to, but know there's been a struggle for me to even make sure that, okay, things are in place and in order. And when we're organizing things to eventually for delegation to happen. So now that once again, I can let go of certain things. And sometimes you can't delegate. And when we're organizing things to eventually for delegation to happen. So now that once again, I can let go of certain things. And sometimes you can't delegate or let go or even make the decision to let go once again because you don't have a system set up. That's why culture is important. Culture determines your system. So another thing I would say to you in that is, what system do you have set up? Do you have a system set up to where you have a culture that's set up to where, okay, I can move away and stuff still runs? And doing a lot of life coaching, especially with single mothers, I will talk to them and I discover very quickly they don't have alone time. And it's like, well, how are you going to take care of everybody else and you don't feed yourself? You're praying for everybody else, but you don't pray for you. Who teaches you? Right? Who teaches you? According to Deuteronomy 28:68, what year did slavery start? I'm not here to have the argument about slavery. We're talking about, and we've talked about Deuteronomy 28 quite often. If you want to maybe revisit some of that tomorrow on the Rise, and if you want to come on for the live session, then I'm not here to go into the argument of that. Like I said, we were going to take our leave before somebody asked a question about it. Tonight, we're talking about it may be time to let go, right? Even some of that, like there was a time I would have stayed on and just gotten to that where somebody's not even listening to what we're talking about. They're just coming on here. Oh, okay, I'm going to disprove you. Deuteronomy 28:68, go. Or maybe they're not even disproving. It's just like, hey, you're talking about something. No, like I have learned how to let go of that. And what people think of you, they think of you. You know what I'm saying? You have to get to a place where you realize that sometimes the best thing for you is to let it go. And sometimes letting it go is releasing it to the Most High and just saying, I don't even know what to do with this, Abba. Like, I have no clue. You know, creating me a clean heart. Like, I'm all over the place. I'm illegal. I don't even know how to use your law right. You know, creating me a clean heart and renew within me a righteousness, a right legal standing. Right, that I'll stop missing the mark. I'll stop sinning. You know, and that's what a lot of us need to go through and get to, right? Yeah, that push you towards the things that you need to let go. Yeah, and so once again, when your vision is together, your purpose is together, that means you'll start living. So your vision is going to determine your purpose. What I do every day is determined by where I know I'm supposed to go. And even if it's hard for me, the last part is vision, right? You got vision, you got purpose, and then the last part is value. Right? You will start putting value on things because of where you're headed. So because of where you're headed and because of what you do every day, you'll find that your values shift. And that's a lot of times why it's hard to let go, because you're in the midst of a shift concerning your values. That's really what it is. That's really what it's breaking down to. Your values are changing because your purpose is different than what somebody else's purpose is, or what somebody wants to put on you as far as their purpose. You know, a lot of people want you to do what they want you to do. And if you don't do what they want you to do, I'm doing well, David. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're doing well, right? You said you be kicking game for me for about a month. So I definitely watch when I can. Appreciate that. Yeah, come on when you can. We appreciate you. Thanks for being part of the community. You know, so for me, I know where I'm headed. I know where my family's headed, right? Everything about us is where we're headed. Everything I'm doing is, I know where we're headed. So even SOC having to win an argument, now we value peace. You know, it used to be we valued having to make sure that, you know, to make sure that we were the one that were heard, and the other person had to, you know, why are you always talking? Well, why are you always talking? Why are you always? Now it's, look, at the end of the day, I value you, and my vision is to make you happy. My purpose, therefore, I do certain things to make sure that we're both blessed and to live happily together. Therefore, you know, I value a smile on your face. So before you even have an opportunity to feel sad about something, let me just go ahead and do exactly what I know you want me to do. And that way I don't have to worry about you being sad and us having to have a frustration because we, you know, let's not even get to a place where, you know, well, what's wrong with you? Nothing. We don't even have to get to that place where the answer is nothing, because the answer really is nothing. So I don't even have to see a look on your face, right? The vision that we want, it establishes what our purpose is every day, and now we value different things than we used to value. And a lot of times when you're trying to let go of somebody or something, it's because your values are starting to change. Your vision for your life is established. Your purpose in what you're doing is changing. And so because of that, you're in a system where it's like you used to value something. Once again, it's nostalgic. Nostalgia is not always a great thing. Like if I see like Interview with the Vampire, it's not even necessarily a great movie, but I used to watch it a lot. So if I see it, there's a nostalgia that's there, but it doesn't serve me any value. So if I see it, unless I'm studying a scene or something in there, because I'm like, I wonder how they, you know, use manipulation and stuff like that through this movie or something like that. But I used to be like a movie buff. I used to love watching movies. That's all I did. I would go to a movie. My wife would tell you, like, I used to just like to go to a movie even by myself. I used to love going to movies. Now I'll still watch how they do things behind the scenes, because I like to see how, you know, how they do suspension of disbelief and things like that to get you to come outside of your natural state. So I like to study that stuff, but I don't sit down and watch movies anymore because my values changed, because my purpose was about something completely different. So my vision's changed. I used to watch sports. I still listen to sports stuff, but I don't really watch sports like that. Every once in a while, from time to time, once or twice a week, I'll watch highlights of games, but I can know what people are talking about. Worry about being lost, in it or whatever, vision, purpose, and value. So I don't watch it as much because I just don't value it as much. And it's the same thing in your life. When you have that vision there and your purpose is crucial, because purpose is what am I going to do every day to get to what I envision. So when my purpose is there, it's crucial because my purpose starts saying, I need to get to where I saw. I need to get to where I saw. It puts blinders on you, and eventually, what happens? And like I said, it's just hard. It's difficult. You're starting to have the blinders put on you, and you're freaking out a little bit. When you first put the blinders on a horse, understand the horse doesn't really necessarily want the blinder on. You got to train the horse. The horse is going to fight because the horse wants to be able to see everything. But once you put the blinders on, the horse doesn't get scared if a horse falls next to it. The horse doesn't get it might get spooked if it saw fire. If it doesn't see the fire, it might keep running. Right? If it sees the crowd, it might get spooked by the crowd. But it's not focused on that. It's focused on straight ahead. Like, let me get around here. Let me go around these turns. Let me focus on straight ahead, straight ahead, straight ahead. The vision is going to determine what the purpose is, your gallop, and then the value is not going to be based off of what does the crowd think, what does my friend think. I used to know this person since I was in kindergarten. I thought that this was the way the world worked. I thought that I was supposed to be, military man for life. All this stuff. Your values change because your vision is set. Your purpose, therefore, starts to gain traction, and that's habits, right? Being habitual. And once you start doing those things, even if you want to hold on to it, it's hard, it might be difficult to let go, but over time you're going to let go. But we can continue this, I guess not tomorrow, on Thursday. Thank you all for being on. We appreciate all of you on all the platforms. And I'm going to get ready to take my leave. As always, please check out my wife, the Honorable Bloom and Flourish. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, and her website. That's not A-N-D, but the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. Thank you so much, to everybody, for taking time out with us. We'll be back on the Rising tomorrow for part 3 of Having Been Led as We Believe. And we'll start getting into some things concerning law and what we believe as far as the Bible. In our specific culture. And once again, it's having been led as we believe. It doesn't mean we're trying to force our beliefs on you. This is just trying to tell you, you probably never heard somebody go through the Tanakh or the Bible or the Word in the manner that we're going through, and we want to give it to you in a true manner. Thank you so much for being on. We appreciate you all. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get out your way and take my leave. So as always, always, of course, our prayer is that you not only heard this, but that you study it and meditate on it and even pray about it so that you can do what it is that we've talked about, right? We'll try to make sure this is loaded on YouTube later on. They had a lot of different signal issues, so prayerfully it will allow us to upload this later on the YouTube. We do have we have started the 12 Myths of Christmas on our YouTube channel, hashtag FindKofi, hashtag FindKofi. So if you want to go there and check it out, feel free to go there and check it out. And we're grateful and thankful for everybody spending some time with us. So thank you again. Thank you to my wife, the Honorable Maya. Please check out my son, Solomon, and his YouTube page. We're about to put some new stuff on there for him. 777 Soloface, 777 SOLOFACE. And remember that this is our year of pursuit, so we're going to hashtag finish strong in that, so that next year we can begin to start transitioning into living in that which we pursued. And we're thankful and grateful for this opportunity. We appreciate you. And as always, this has been Pastor Kofi, a.k.a. the Shadow Band One, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again, please remember as always that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Take care.